New Jersey Transit 6:34 a.m. Northeast Corridor line on route
So
to
listen,
Jersey
when I got
Avenue,
time today,
making stops at Newark Penn Station,
heading
Metro
to
Park, and New Brunswick, terminating in
DC
Jersey
to
Avenue.
handle some business. You know, I thought we would have this conversation, you know, about how Meek said it, bum ass academics. And you know, I seen some response, some shit he said about me. Same old shit, you know. I guess these are the new talking points. You know, failed rapper and fake activist. Now is an internet activist, and that shit is cool and it's corny and it's corny because the reality of the situation is, before this internet, before this year, for the last, I want to say damn near 10 years, I've been out here doing this work. You know, before it was a George Floyd, when Eric Garner was killed, you know, when a woman you don't even know named Deborah Dana in the Bronx, when I protested for 40 days by myself, when there was no cameras out there, no police, nothing, and I demanded that police be charged for killing that lady. There wasn't no cameras there, wasn't no internet. I brought the attention to the case. You know, when there was a need against the violence inside New York City, and I did numerous marches that I protested against. When I was been working with the Cure Violence system in New York City. Shout out to my sister Erica Ford, my brother Shanduke, A.T. Mitchell. When they was calling me to help them get guns out of these kids' hands that was going to war in the projects, and I was sitting in project buildings with kids who was literally going to war, talking guns out of their hands, talking them off out of shooting and killing each other. This work I've been doing. So when you say all that shit to me about it, and nobody paid me to do nothing. I was taking my own money out of my pocket to travel around and do shit. The reason why I started traveling is because Breonna Taylor's lawyer called my organization and said nobody was paying attention to their case and they needed somebody to come down here to make people pay attention to it. So we got up and went there. Nobody wasn't paying us to do nothing. We was coming out of our own pockets, figuring out sometimes renting motherfucking vans and things to go and fight on behalf of these people. So, but you know the narrative, you got an Instagram narrative, you got the shit, y'all say all that, whatever, cool. You know, all you gotta do is just a little bit of homework. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of homework. You know, so when you talk about you seen me at the BET Awards. It was the BET Awards that you seen me at that I was freestyling at. You know that I had pretty much arguably the best freestyle at BET Awards. I never was scalping no tickets, whatever you say, you know. But that's neither here nor there. We don't even got to talk about that. But the reality, what I do want to talk about is this. The fact is that you are an internet nerd, right? You talk about the rappers who talk about shit, and you saying it's detrimental to the culture, and I can agree. I can agree that there are a lot of rappers, but there's too many rappers to name about the content that they talk about, right? Because the reality of the situation is actually these people actually live that life. That's what they know. That is their reality, right? So when I came into the game, I was Mysonne, lefty, gun up in the right palm, popping niggas in they sleep till they die calm, right? And as I started to grow and evolve, I moved past that. You talk about Meek's content. Yeah, Meek still talk about street shit, you know, but I see there is a definite change in the what he talks about. Yeah, he talks about shit, you know, because maybe that's still his reality. I don't have the authority to tell people that's from the streets not to talk about the shit they live or actually still live. So I don't know, but I know that you are a fucking nerd. I know for a fact that you have never been involved in anything that has to be street. I know for 100% fact that you have never been involved in none of the shit that you amping up in these streets, right? You like the bookworm with his glasses and his motherfucking textbook that see two street dudes fighting and you going in there Oh, you're gonna let him hit you like that? Wow, you know what he said about you? He said that you're soft. And then you go to the other one, and then you run and hide in your house. You're putting out you're instigating and amping up real beef, and you're a fucking nerd. You are scared to death to go outside. You won't walk anywhere without security. You are a fucking nerd. And you're entertaining because it's actually entertaining to hear a nerd have a perspective on real street shit. So it's a niche for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a niche for you. There's a niche for people like you because people want to hear this bookworm fucking nerd who's never been in the street talk street shit. It's like entertaining to people. It's really entertaining. People are entertaining. Like, yo, what is it? You know, you come there with this little fucking bookworm voice, looking like Stuart Little, and you talking about real street where niggas will catch you. Not know where so niggas can catch you. You don't want to be around nobody so they can have a conversation with you. You just talk from your computer, and it's entertaining to people, right? Because you actually talking about real beef, and people know these real beefs are happening, and you pretty much dry snitching. You understand what I'm saying? You're like the feds. You're pretty much the police can go to your Instagram and your fucking page all day and find out what's really going on in the beef. If they can't decode it in the music that these streets do, because you created a lane, right, to where they know if they have real beef. It's niggas. You are the reason why niggas like Pooh Shiesty and them is locked out. You the reason why these niggas come. They know if we put in real shit in the streets, right? And we put in real pain, a nigga like Akademiks will talk about it, right? And he'll go on the stage and say, yo, this such and such shot such and such. And you know such and such got beef with such and such. And that beef amplifies, so now niggas want to hear what they talking about. And that's why Little Tim is a rapper now. That's why Little Tim is a rapper now, because they understand you are one of the niggas who created a lane for you. Go out there and you do some shit that is detrimental to your future. You shoot, you kill, you have real beef, and we're gonna talk about you. And now you can actually rap. you can actually rap about it. We want to hear you rap about it now. You done put some real shit. You done bodied somebody. You shot at a few niggas. Now you rap about it, and we're gonna talk about it. And you can get a record deal from it, right? You can get a whole record deal if you go out there and you put your life on. You might not live to see the record deal. You know what I'm saying? You might not be free enough to see the record deal, but we'll talk about you. We're gonna amp you up. We're gonna talk about how gangster you are. We're gonna talk about how you slid on the ops. We're gonna talk about all this shit, and we're gonna get you some Instagram fame. We're gonna get you some internet fame so that you can take your career to the next level. No matter how short-lived it is, you might die in the interim. Somebody might do a drive-by because we done told how many niggas you shot, you caught a body, you did this. You might die, but you're gonna get some fame, and you created that. So of course they pay attention to you, just like they pay attention to Wendy Williams, just like they've been paying attention to a bunch of niggas that instigate shit their whole life. Of course, you're relevant. You're relevant, and I'm not here to cancel you, bro. I just wish you would understand the power you hold. It ain't about canceling. I'm just saying the reality is the power that you hold. You don't have the authority to talk about street shit because you getting these kids killed. That's just the bottom line. And the reason why you don't know that is because you're not from the streets. The reason why you're not able to hold on and understand how serious what you're doing is because you're not from the streets at all. You don't have a street bone in your body. You don't have a street bone in your body, so it's just entertainment to you. You can talk about a nigga sliding on his ops. You can say a nigga too comfortable. You can say this nigga just caught a body. He just came home. And you can have those conversations because you don't understand the ramifications of it, right? Because you're not going to come outside, so niggas ain't running down on you. They ain't sliding and spinning the corners on you. You're not involved in the street life, so you can talk about it. You can amp it up. You can talk about niggas' names. You can talk about who's shooting who. You can do all of the shit that you want to do with no ramification and no consequences. But the thing is, when you have those conversations about those people, and you amping the nigga up saying he the shooter, and now you got 5 million people paying attention to you. The little kid that's out on the block that ain't got nothing, that say, you know what, if I slide on this nigga, DJ Akademiks gonna talk about me. DJ Akademiks is gonna make me famous, I can rap about it, and I can get a record deal. That's all I gotta do. All I gotta do is really slide. I gotta be the nigga that slide. And if I slide, Akademiks gonna say my name. He gonna say, yo, such and such slid on such and such. Right? Because that's what you do. That is all you've ever done. You've never done nothing, my nigga. Nobody knows you for nothing else but talking about other people. I got signed in 1999 because I out-rapped niggas. I was good at rapping. I got locked up, my career changed, my career path, my mind state changed. But you was never nobody. You was always the nigga that talked about other niggas. That's all you ever been. You always been the nigga that talked about other niggas. You have nothing else. And it's a comical narrative because niggas see it as a joke. But the reality of the situation is you are a fucking clown, a nerd internet clown that instigates real beefs. It's actually sad. It's sad. Listen to me. To act like people don't pay attention to you and all that shit would be a lie. I'm not gonna say that. Because niggas actually listen to what you say. And that's the sad part. To me, the sad part is that a nigga like you who've never been in the street, never been in any beef, you probably never even had a fist fight in your life. The most you had is yelling on Instagram and YouTube. That's the most you've ever done. Actually has the authority, peace king, you know what I'm saying? Actually has the authority to talk about real street beef. I am so confused. But this is where this is what we've come to. We've come to the point where people who have done absolutely nothing can talk about real street beef and have an opinion and amp it up. I don't care if you talk about music, talk about whatever you want. I'm not here to tell people what music to make. I'm not here to tell somebody what reality they have or don't have. But the reality of the situation is you ain't from the streets. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about what these kids is dealing with. And every time you amp up beef with these kids, there's a possibility that somebody's gonna go out to retaliate because you called another nigga tough and said, oh, y'all niggas are soft and this nigga's up. The reality that one of these young kids from Chicago that has nothing, that sees you as a voice, and gonna go pick up a gun to slide because he want Akademiks to talk about him so he can get a record deal, is high. This is what you've done. You created this sucker shit to where these kids feel like they need you in order to get a record deal. That's what happened. That is the reality of what we're dealing with. So as we have this conversation, I just want you to know I'm on my way to work right now. You know, I'm not on the internet. I'm on my way to DC because I got to pay a fine because I got arrested in DC, you know, for protesting and advocating for some real shit. And then right after that, I got to head to Alabama to do a violence conference because I just left Chicago. Shout out to my man Chico and a young girl named Miracle who out there really doing work. Like, I'm outside, my nigga. Like, I don't understand.
Get out?
Yes, this is my train.
Okay.
So what do I say?
Tell me where you're going.
Oh, I'm going to DC.
Okay, straight down there.
Straight down there? Okay. So, you know, well, I mean, protests got Derek Chauvin arrested, right? We protested against Derek Chauvin. We went around, we advocated, we did all the shit necessary. And Derek Chauvin is now sentenced to 22 years. So I don't know, maybe you're right. How you doing? Going to DC.
DC. All right, you need some mask.
Okay, we're not to Boston. Boston?
Boston?
Okay, but it says track A, so do we wait here?
Yes. I will go watch it. This train goes to Chicago. I guess it's coming up.
After this one?
I dropped my mask somewhere, sir. I think I dropped it inside the waiting area.
I don't have no. I can't let you run without a mask.